doing a preliminary investigation in a few cemeteries. The last 2 in the morning, we seem to be getting some personal experiences.
Sure, anybody can ask any questions about I'm recording.
I don't like you at all. Gwen?
Okay, on to, what do you think, our first investigation? Our very first investigation was
Blakely Cemetery.
Here in St. Joseph, Missouri.
Actually, it's right outside of St. Joseph, heading
East. Heading east on 36. Heading east on 36 Highway, just outside of town on the other side of the Platte River.
Doing a preliminary investigation in a few cemeteries tonight. If we uncover anything, any of them, we will return to a full investigation.
My experience there, cold spots. We were outside, but I did feel a few cold spots in the cemetery. I think we caught maybe a few orbs, not a lot of activity.
Peaceful.
Yeah, I had a peaceful feeling.
It seemed.
They don't reflect well.
Peaceful.
You have some really interesting lights when we played back to the...
Not real well, but if anything would pass by in front of the light that would reflect something back, even if we don't see it on this screen, when we transfer it, we might see something.
Yeah.
Which we will put on our video. And later to follow up on that video, when we played that back, we have realized what those lights were.
This was a gas station over on 36 Highway.
Which is
as you move the camera, they bounced through the sky. It was kind of interesting for being stationary lights. They kind of had like a dance and everything to them for a stationary.
Which is why, once we found that out, we got a tripod. The camera stays stationary now.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is why it is important not to just think, just because you're walking around with your camera, that movements and everything and what you see is not really what's there. Right. A moving camera can change the way things look.
And, I probably looked at those videos 10, 12 different times before, and I mean different settings, not just replaying it over and over again, but actually different settings before I actually realized what it was.
Well, on those lights, I did a lot of different research on paranormal lights that dance, that move, and it didn't fall into any of the characteristics.
Right. I looked up several things along the same line.
I spent quite a few days going through different paranormal lights, and a couple of videos were the videos that I did find were kind of similar, but they were different. Mm-hmm. And then after finding out exactly what it is, it completely made sense.
There's a bunch of little white flowers that are on the ground that bounces off the top.
just don't play back sound off of this. Like you transfer it to something else, like to a computer, then it'll play it back. As far as I know, it has sound. I believe it did. We ain't actually transferred anything off of it yet. Small what?
Very small word.
It could be a bug. I've seen a few flying around, so and they will reflect. They'll reflect light back. We can't fully discount it, but we can't fully say yes, it is an orb, because I've seen bugs flying around. So
Yes. And to granted, you will see the video. We will put a small clip of the video in our stuff.
Well, the
And-
first episode should be mainly Blakely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it
That's
is.
what
So you'll see it as we tore it apart, like we do everything else that we do.
And we come up with the explanation, and the gas station lights that we have found is about a mile and a half away.
Yes.
But granted, we are on top of a hill.
Which the distance is why it was so hard to
To
realize
decide
what it
what
was.
it
They were.
Exactly.
Wasn't until you slowed it down.
No, actually what happened was the bright orb that constantly would show up in the video, I happened to notice that there was like a reflection or kind of underneath that orb, and it turned out to be the roof of the chapel. And once I figured that out, then it didn't take long to figure the other out.
Which just states
I mean,
that it takes time.
The
to figure
light
something
on the
out.
pole in front of that chapel looked just like an orb
Right.
going through.
Which
the
means if we
video.
do an investigation, you're not going to get our results within a day, because we like to pick apart what we get to make sure we're right on
Right.
everything we tell you.
That's right.
You know, if we tell you, if we are going to go out and say that this is what we think this is, it's because we have not been able to tell ourselves that we're wrong
Or explain it.
or explain it in one way or another.
And another thing, in our videos, the only editing that we do is to cut the time down. That is it. We do not add anything to the video or nothing like that.
There may be some noise reduction, but just
Yeah, noise
Just to
reduction.
clarify what we're
But we
hearing.
don't add audio.
no.
We don't add any audio or overlap videos or anything like
Or
that.
overlap audio, because I've heard that.
Yes, or-
I've heard that where you have one audio and then they play another audio over it.
We do not do that.
No, because it disguises what you are supposed to hear.
Everything that you will see in our videos will be legit as far as we know.
There you go.
As far
It'll be our actual footage.
Right.
it will be our footage.
You know, and if we mistook something for something that it's not.
Feel free to
initially-
tell us.
Yes,
Yeah.
tell us.
Yeah, we
Please.
definitely want
Feedback.
other opinions on what we're looking at.
Yeah.
We don't have any verification on the cold spots that we felt at Blakely.
No,
other
because
than-
at that time we did not have a thermometer. It was just our own personal. This was like middle of May,
Yeah.
end of May. It's not
Not
really
really
that
cold
cold.
out.
Therefore, goosebumps and cold chills are few and far between. Even out in the middle of the woods or in the open area.
Even my 15-year-old daughter got them.
And it was,
know.
and granted, it
Because
was
she was
very
with
windy.
us.
It was very windy that night,
Right.
Especially there.
especially there.
Yes.
We went to three different cemeteries that same night, and the other two was not near as windy,
Right.
but it was very windy there on top of that hill.
Right, this was the first place we went. We took the least amount of video, the least amount of pictures,
And spent the least amount of time.
and
And have not made another trip out there.
but we will on the second season.
Yes.
Or at least it could be in the works.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
It was just so peaceful that we didn't feel a need to go back and reinvestigate.
Yet I know from personal experience it isn't always that calm, peaceful, and serene. Some nights are not always the same. It does.
Shall we conclude our video?
It was about that time.
What do you think?
Do we cover Blakely?
Covered Blake.
We covered
Do
Blake?
we cover everything that you wanted to cover?
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, that will conclude our Blakely session. So.
An introduction
And
to us.
yeah, and introduction to a.p.e, which, amateur paranormal exploration. Feel free to comment on our videos, please.
Questions, comments, good, bad, or other, we are open to all.
Yes.
Any places that you want us to investigate? feel
Got any
free.
good horror stories? We're open for those too.
Yes.
Urban legends, any places, anything.
Especially in the area, and
That we are
especially
in.
if you're in the area, so we can talk to you in person.
Yes.
Okay. Get a hold of us at APE_64501 at yahoo.com.
Yep. Thank you for your time and have a great evening.